Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Nacho Tuesday. And today I have Joey Seeman here with Novo Echo AI. And without further ado, we'd love if you could introduce your company and tell us more about what you guys do.
Thank you for the intro. So basically at Nova Echo, we have an AI that makes sales calls and takes customer service calls over the phone for other companies, and it sounds just like a human. So a lot of companies implement this to cut costs for their sales and their customer service to make it much easier to manage and a more streamlined process when they're bringing on new talent and trying to close
Excellent.
deals.
So how'd you get started with this company? Tell us more about your background.
Yeah, so I started my first online company about 2.5 years ago now, and that eventually led me to a marketing agency that I was helping run. And that was going pretty good. It was okay. And we realized that we needed to start adding AI into our marketing to start following up with clients over text if we wanted to compete with the other marketing agencies, if we wanted to actually provide a really good service to our clients. So we started researching how we can do AI chatbots and how we could implement that with the marketing agency. Did it for about a month. It didn't go that well just because we didn't know how to do it at the time very well. And so my partner just kept moving forward. He kept doing the marketing agency. He was already running it before I had joined it. So he knew what he was doing there, and he just kept doing it, and we ran it. And then I said, this AI thing is going to take over the world. This is going to be the future, and it's going to change everything. So I went all in with the AI, and I actually found another company that was doing something similar to what we're doing now.
Mhm.
So I reached out to them. I tried to market for them and get in with their company somehow. They turned me down, but I ended up buying a license from them.
Yep.
And I ended up becoming their top license holder. I learned a lot about AI, a lot about technology, a lot about coding, a lot of things. And then I sold my license with their company and I started my own that's much better,
Nice.
to put it simply.
Yeah. So how's the platform work?
Yeah, so you basically just log in. There is a section to create outbound agents and a section to create inbound agents. You go in there, you type in the first message that should say, then the entire script. You choose between one of our 125 different voices, and then you can choose if it's really sensitive, if it's not so sensitive, if it's creative or not creative, and there's dials for that.
Mhm.
And then you just press save and you do test calls until you get it down perfectly. So you do test call, then you change the script a little bit, and you do a test call and you change the script a little bit, and then you go through that process, and then it's perfect.
Very nice. So I guess in your opinion, how have software sales changed over the last few years, especially now with the advent of, or I guess AI really coming to age?
Yeah, I mean, software right now, and for a while actually, it's been really hot. It wasn't as talked about though.
Mm.
So now people are starting to talk about it. People are starting to realize that SaaS is a great model. And there's a lot of companies that are now enabling SaaS for other companies in an easy way. So like Go High Level, for example, or what we're doing.
Mhm.
So like we allow companies to white label our software and then resell it. So
Yep.
now that there's companies like that doing something like that, it allows it to be more accessible because software is typically a very expensive industry that not anybody can just get in.
Yep.
And AI is hot, and people put AI in everything now. But AI and software are tied, obviously. So whenever somebody says AI, that's almost always linked to a software product.
Yep.
So it's become very hot lately.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole white label trend's pretty popular as well too, right? Building a repeatable platform where somebody could just plug and play that into whatever existing system that they have, so they can bring that AI tool right in there without having to build the platform themselves, which could be very expensive, as we know.
Yeah, exactly, and
Yeah.
that's really powerful.
Awesome. So where do you see AI kind of playing into the role of like sales and customer service, today and maybe going forward?
So today, AI can already replace a lot of the basic customer service that gets done. So the way I think about it is there's like three tiers of customer service. That's how a lot of companies think about it. So you have first tier, which is like basic stuff, the things you get and you hear every day. Oh, I got locked out of my account, whatever. Forgot my password. Then the second tier is okay, you actually need like some intelligence here to be able to answer this question. The answer to the question changes depending on who's asking it, and maybe it has to do with their account, whatever. And then third level is, it depends on the company. For us, maybe it's like a back end issue, like there's something actually wrong with the software that needs to get fixed. So first level can be replaced by AI. A lot of it already has been. Very soon, second level will be able to be replaced by AI. So what I think companies should start doing is taking all their customer service reps that are focused on the first level customer service, which is honestly just a waste of time at this point. It's just repetitive stuff.
Yep.
Move that to second and third level, which gives them more capacity to scale and offer better service, and
Mhm.
then have AI do the first level. And then soon they should take the second level, move everyone to the third level, which gives them a huge capacity there. And it means that they can scale really quickly because AI has practically unlimited capacity depending on how you use it and where you get it from. So then
Yep.
first, second, and third level is so top tier at this point that they can just scale enormously. And then for sales, I recommend just setting with it right now. So whenever a lead comes in, have the AI call that person and actually get that appointment booked because it
Mhm.
can do it like that. It does it in 30 seconds.
Yep.
So in our company, whenever a lead comes in from an ad, we call them in 30 seconds and we have a super high booking rate because no one gets a call 30 seconds after filling a lead form. No,
Yep.
like that's rare, but they don't forget about the company because they just saw an ad about it, right? 30 seconds ago. So that's how I see it today. In the future for sales, I see everything being done with AI. I mean, eventually you'll hop on a Zoom call, it'll be an AI, you won't be able to tell,
Yep.
right? That's a little bit scary, but that's the future. And I think in a decade, we'll be seeing that. And maybe in a couple decades in our lifetime, we may even see AI robots that look like humans walking around and selling people in person, like a car salesman. You never know, you know?
What do you think about the trade-off between AI and kind of losing that sense of personalization, and how AI can, potentially compensate for that and provide a similar experience?
So I think that humans, as complex as we are, it's still an algorithm. Our brains still have a certain number of connections and a lot of them that
Mhm.
make us do what we do. And there's different arguments about, do we have a soul? Do we have a spirit? Is there something outside of our actual physical bodies? People have
Mhm.
different opinions on that. No one actually knows the truth. People just speculate. So, depending on if souls or spirits or whatever you want to call them are real, that changes a lot of things. Because if they're not, then the brain can be replicated, which means consciousness can be replicated, which
Yep.
means when we get good enough at math and we have supercomputers that can just copy human brains, we'll have AIs that are identical or
Mhm.
even more human than us, and we won't be able to tell. But if the solar spirit is a real thing, then there'll always be something in everyone's mind that will be able to tell this is a little off.
Mhm.
I don't know which is going to be, but regardless, I think in a couple decades, we'll be able to copy human emotions and human, even if they're not real, even if they're still artificial, we'll be able to copy them and replicate hand motions and face movements so well that
Yep.
you won't be able to tell it's not a real human connection, unfortunately.
I could see that too, I'm sure, because even our behavior is really trained from at a young age. We really emulate the people around us and just social cues, and a lot of them, those are kind of built into us, I feel like, too. But like, a lot of it does come from the external environment that we're in, and we really just pick that up, even if it's not like directly somebody telling us to do this. We start to see how other people act, and for instance, hand movements and stuff like that, and you really start to emulate that, even if it's subconscious.
Exactly. And that's how humans learn everything. That's why you see in different cultures people act completely differently, especially ones that are isolated from average society. And
Yep.
when you have an AI that can not only watch their parents and some of their friends, but can watch every single person, billions of people at the same time through the internet
Yeah.
in just a couple of hours, it's going to learn a lot quicker about how to act in a society than a baby would.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great point. So I guess, what do you think most businesses are getting wrong with their customer communication strategy? As it is today, but also with utilizing a tool like AI, maybe as a supplement. What do you think they can do to improve that?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying earlier, a lot of companies are hiring so many people to just focus on these complaints that they get like a million times. And yeah,
Mhm.
they have documentation, but no one reads it, so it
Yeah.
doesn't help. And they have chatbots, some of them, and that's what we found when we were doing the chatbots. But a lot of people don't even like to do that. Like often we have a chatbot set up on our website, but often whenever somebody is asking a question, they'll still want to ask a person directly or call us,
Yep.
right? And So what companies can do is if there's just simple tasks, if there's like 30 different things that could happen in a customer service question, yeah, maybe you need a human for it, but that's what I would consider second or third level. For the first level where it's just like the same thing over and over,
Mhm.
let them pick up the phone and call you because that's what they want to do. Let them, instead of waiting on hold for an hour and going do 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 do,
Yeah.
like everyone hates that and you
Yep.
have to keep it on. So instead, just have it go straight to an AI in 30 seconds where they can't
Mhm.
even really tell if it's a human or not. Many, like 95% of people will think it's a human. Other 5% won't care because it's so good, and they'll
Yeah.
get their answers. And then also, if they have a second or third level question, and they say, "Hey, I need a human. This is not good because you're not answering my question because it's too complicated, or it's about my specific account." Okay, it'll just live transfer. Boom, done. Now you have a human.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, especially yeah, people want answers, more quickly than ever. And a lot of those original chatbots are really kind of redundant. You just kind of get stuck in this loop asking questions, and it's really frustrating for people. But with a lot of the new AI tools, it's a lot more intuitive. You could actually really get specific answers, and really I'd say 80% plus of the questions, I'm sure, for every company are pretty much the same questions all the time anyway. Like, how do I get back into to my account, or how does this work, or basic stuff like that could be easily learned by AI and repeated in an orderly fashion.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, AI is just so much better at repetitive tasks than humans because it can do it so fast.
Yep. And then I guess what would you say for the AI naysayers out there? Because there's still some of them. uh,
There's plenty of them. Yeah. Um, well, you're gonna get left behind. That's it. Like you can naysay all you want. Eventually, you're gonna see everyone else ahead of you, and then you'll be like, "Oh shit, it's time to catch up," and then you will. So I'm not worried about it.
Mhm.
Everyone's gonna use it eventually. It's the same thing with the internet. Crypto was actually it's still like that with crypto, although it was more like that even just a couple months ago. But now you have, politicians on both sides talking about how important crypto is, and that's making it so a lot of these old people are like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't just some fake currency that the young people created. Maybe it's actually real. Maybe it actually works. And a similar thing is going to be happening with AI soon enough. So right now it's like 50-50. There's a lot of people that love it, a lot of people that hate it. There's some people who are in between, but there's definitely negatives to it, right? And that we'll see. Like right now, there's not really. I mean, there's going to be negatives in the long run once we get AI that's more powerful than our brains,
Mhm.
but it's going to happen. So do you want to take advantage of it or not? Because you're not stopping it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's always been the thing. Get with the trend, right? So yeah, get on the internet, because once it became a thing, you kind of follow the typical product adoption life cycle, right? And it's going through that same phase now, going from like early adopters to kind of the early majority. But eventually everybody's going to start to catch on to it at some point, hopefully, because it is a very powerful productivity tool, right? And yeah, there's just the sky's the limit from where it goes from here. I guess, do you have any tips for companies that want to properly roll out AI in their organization? Like, is there what certain strategies would you recommend? Like, obviously, chat's like a great place to do it. Anything else that you would recommend that might be low hanging fruit for a naysayer that's just dabbling with AI for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, if you're first starting out and you have no experience with AI, just make a GPT account, make an account with Claude, just anything. That way you can just start seeing how powerful it can be. Ask it questions instead of searching up things on Google. Ask the AI because it'll give you a better answer quickly. Actually, now when you search up on Google, Gemini, which is an AI, will answer you. I don't even like. I just use Gemini for everything now, pretty much. Whenever
Yeah.
I'm looking up on Google, because it'll just tell me. It looks through every article and like hundreds of pages, so I don't have to. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So start there, and then ask it questions, realize how powerful and knowledgeable it can be, and then say, okay, wait, what if I could teach this everything, every word that's ever been written about my company, and
Mhm.
then let people ask questions to it? How
Yeah.
powerful and quickly could that be? Could that get? Okay, now what if people could do that over the phone so it would be even faster with their voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So ask it questions, learn about how it works. If you hate it,
Mhm.
never use it again. And I've never seen anyone hate it because it's amazing. And then if you like it, experiment with chat. And if you like chat, go to voice because it's the best option right now.
And do you guys have like a kind of like a playground or tutorial, not necessarily a tutorial, but like a sandbox account where people can try it out before they buy it, sort of thing?
We don't have that. We do on our website. People can call it, so they can write a script and call it. So that's like a similar thing. It's not a whole sandbox account, but they can test it out.
Mm.
That rhymed. That was cool. And then um, also, whenever people want to use it, I always tell them like start slower. Like I said, the first level, and then if that works great, then experiment with second level. We're not at the place where we can do third level. Like the AI is not gonna just go in right now to specific accounts and like change things and fix
Mhm.
things for people. Not yet. That's gonna be soon, but we're not there yet. So
Yeah.
just keep experimenting.
Yeah, that's a great point. So, I guess any other strategic sales tips for SaaS leaders that they should know? Obviously, AI is like a big one, but anything in general that you'd recommend based on your experience selling your product and finding success with it?
Yeah, I mean to other companies, I would just say make sure that people see your branding as much as possible because it builds trust as it should. Because when people see things more often, it means okay, there's some credibility to this. I wouldn't see something 100 times if it had no value because it wouldn't be there anymore. There's a reason people want to keep seeing it. So you see, oh, it's mirrored. You see it right here. You see it wherever that is, and make sure that you're doing that as much as possible.
Yep, absolutely. And then, what are you guys doing for like? Are you guys doing any outbound or are you just relying mostly on like inbound sales?
It's mostly inbound for us. We do some outbound as well, but this product is so hot and so many people want to use it and implement it now before their competition that there's a
Mhm.
lot of people that just come and reach out to us.
Great, and you guys, I like the little advertisement back there too. Do you guys have an agency program? So you guys resell with agencies, right?
Yeah, so actually through the NachoNacho website, everyone gets access to this product. Let me see which way to lean. So it's 50%
Uh,
off.
Oh,
Oh, this
very
is mirrored. This is confusing. So it's 50% off, and basically it allows you to become an agency and resell the software to the clients that you have. So you can create sub accounts in the software. You get unlimited sub accounts. You get unlimited agents,
yep.
and you can make as many calls as you want. Although we do charge per minute.
Yeah, that's a great tool. Yeah, and I like that you have the Nacho Nacho deal in there too. Yeah, it's a nice touch. I might have to use that from going forward. Like maybe have like the brand that we're interviewing right here with the discount in the Nacho Nacho marketplace in the background. That'd be kind of cool.
100%. And this flyer is on our Nacho Nacho page as well.
Awesome. And I guess any other tips for increasing conversions with customers? Obviously, like AI is addressing a big part of that, getting people answers quickly, especially the basic ones, right? If you can get that out of the way, it helps with the conversions. Anything else that you've seen in your experience that helps SaaS leaders get more conversions from any other inbound traffic?
Yeah, so when people come inbound from, let's say, an ad, if you call them within 1 minute, it increases conversions by 391%.
Oh,
That's a real statistic. So that's crazy. Like if all you do is just implement an AI to call them in 30 seconds, if that's all you do, you'll get 4 times your revenue. Like that's insane.
yeah, you got to strike while the iron's hot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because some people will wait a couple days or a week because they have so many leads to follow up with. Even if it's just a couple hours, people forget about it because no one when you're doing ads, no one cares that much. Like you might have the occasional person that's like, "Whoa, this is insane," but across all industries, across all ads, a lot of people will just fill in their name and
Mhm.
then be like, "Eh." So it's your job to teach them why they need it and show them
Yep, and to be
quickly.
proactive as well too.
Yeah.
Do you guys use any sort of SMS or anything like that?
Yeah, we do that as well, and we also set that up for clients. So we'll basically like if a company wants this system to call people in 30 seconds, for example, we'll set up an entire thing. So we'll have it call them in 30 seconds. If they don't pick up, it'll call them in 2 hours. If they don't pick up, it'll call them in a day, then
Mhm.
7 days, right? And then we'll also text them if they don't pick up, and we'll email them, and we'll drop voicemails. Like we'll do it all. We'll do it all,
Nice.
and
That's
it's all
perfect.
part of Nova Echo CRM and Nova Echo AI.
And that all comes included in the white label package too, right?
So the Nova Echo CRM comes with our done with you and done for you package, which is separate. That's available on our website if anyone's interested. But our
Uh,
branded agency, they would have their own CRM account. That way they can bring people under them as well. Or we can give them one as well, whatever they want. So we'll include it if they want it.
and what's the website again if people want to go check that out?
NovaEcho.ai. So that's NovaEcho.ai.
Excellent. I guess moving on to something else, maybe more personal, I guess. What are your favorite books? I guess what do you do to kind of learn as you work, right? Like you're always probably working on growing your knowledge base. Where do you get, I guess where to get your insights from?
Good question. So almost all of my insights have been from people and failing. But books have also been very important. And, even if it's that last 20%, it still helps a lot. So I love Think and Grow Rich. Right now I'm reading Unreasonable Hospitality. I love that one. Um, let's see. I have a whole list of books that I've read.
I'm guessing that one's about customer service.
Yes, yes, a lot, and which is great, and it's one of the most important things you can do to, have a successful company. And I've been talking to a lot of people recently that have run very, very successful companies, and that's the main thing they bring up as well. So it's something that we're going to continue to focus more and more on
Yeah,
as a company.
yeah,
So
customer
here,
first always.
yeah. So here, I just pulled it up. So 48 Laws of Power was amazing.
Oh, I like that one too. Yeah,
Yeah, I love Robert
easier for
Greene's
good.
books. Yeah, exactly. It can be used for both, just like
Yeah.
anything else. But psychology is very important to know in business and just in life in general. Um, let me see. $100 million leads. Alex Hormozy's great too. Love him. Relentless was a great book by
Nice.
Tim S. Grover.
Okay, I'm
Remember
gonna
that one?
write this one down.
I'm also very big on health, and I think when you're healthy, everything else will fall into place a lot easier. And I think it's the first step in most things that you do. So I read a lot of books about that as well. One that I love was Breath by James Nestor. And that's about how to breathe. And it is crazy how you breathe affects your life. Like
Yep.
there's people that just cured diseases and fixed crazy things just by breathing differently. So that book was eye opening.
Yeah, definitely agree on health too. Like having that mind, body, spirit. Like we are talking about earlier, that or whatever it is, if it is a spirit or whatnot. But having that internal alignment, right?
Yeah,
Definitely. I mean, people perform way better that way. But yeah, it starts with like physical health, right? If you don't feel good, you don't act good, and you don't perform well because of it.
exactly. And like your relationships will be better, you'll make more money, you'll
Yep.
feel better, you'll be happier. Everything is gonna be better if you're healthy and you like yourself. So
Yep.
Ego is the Enemy is another one to talk about by Ryan Holiday. It explains how an ego
Oh,
can really destroy you in a lot of ways. And ego's very helpful, and he didn't think it was helpful at all. I disagree. I think that ego can be very helpful in some ways, and you should just learn how to control it and understand when to have an ego and when not to. And when you can control that and it doesn't take over you,
yep.
it can be very powerful, I think.
Yeah, you make a great point. I think a lot of, especially guys, we the ego could be a very powerful driver to make decisions and be decisive, but it could also there could be a negative side effect to it as well, where, maybe you just, you're not paying attention to external feedback and, making the right decisions because, you have this mental block, if you will, brought on by the ego.
Exactly. So what that perfectly says. So what I try to do is I turn on the ego when I'm competing, and then
Yep.
when it's time to get feedback on my competition and how I perform during the competition, I shut it off.
Yep.
So I'm like all in, competing, competing, competing. I need to win, and then whether I win or lose, when there's somebody else that's telling me, "Hey, you did this wrong, or you need to do this more," the ego goes off because otherwise you're not going to learn and you're not going to grow.
Yeah, that's a great point too. I don't think a lot of people know when or how to even turn it off for that matter. And I think, if you are able to do that, I mean, external feedback, especially customer feedbacks, very helpful, right? And I've seen a lot of, startups and founders and stuff in the past where, sometimes they think their product's the best and they don't want to listen to their customers and they think it should be the other way around. But, really your customers will pretty much point the point the North Star for you, right? They'll say, this is what I'm looking for, what I expect, and enough of your customers, and it is the customer that you're targeting, really identify with that. It's time to listen and make those adjustments, right? And a lot of people kind of fail in that regard because they're not able to make those adjustments. They're selling their tech and not helping solve problems for people.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing because and the best way to start any company, especially software, since it takes so damn long to build,
Mhm.
is to make an MVP, get help, ask for advice, get feedback on what you're doing, and then keep going. And that's something that we're going to keep implementing more on a smaller scale,
Yeah.
which I wasn't doing earlier. But I want to do that in every little thing that we do in the company. And instead of doing a whole bunch of stuff and then getting feedback, I want to do a little feedback, do a little feedback, because it seems like nothing's changing. But if you do a little, right, and then you get feedback and it makes you go like this, and you do a little and get feedback and it goes like this, eventually you end up in a completely different direction, and it's a better direction. And I didn't realize that as much until recently, but I want to make sure that we continue to do that.
Yeah, that's a great point too, because the small changes could add up to something bigger, right? And I think, the MVP model, like everybody talks about, is, really, solving the core problem for the customer first with minimal effort. And if that could solve the problem, then you could start to iterate and add more features on top of that. But if you go, it's so easy to add features without customer feedback, or just, overbuild something where it just, it kind of gets away from the main point. But if you are making those incremental changes along the way, it's a lot easier to kind of conform that product. It's almost like an art, if you will, like designing a great software product, where, even like something as small as like this particular feature is not understood well, and then having the proper UX to help kind of walk them through that process, or, just taking a look at the design and saying this thing doesn't look right. Now I have terrible presentation for our brand, so people aren't going to trust us and want to sign up. And all these little things really add up to a bigger whole. And you can make those incremental changes, like you mentioned, just one step at a time.
Yeah, and I think that's the best way to do it. And you're right, because it's an art. All of business is an art, pretty much, and I
Yeah.
love it.
Mhm.
And thing is, with like actual, like when people think art,
Yeah.
it's fully creative, and there's people that do good and there's people that do bad, but none of them really focus on what other people want. It's really what you feel, and then
Mhm.
other people will connect with that. But
Yeah.
in business, there's a lot more logic behind it, and you can't just do what you feel is nice or what you feel would help people, because that's not the reality. So as great as that is, in some cases, it doesn't work when you're focused on a logical business all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, especially because, people are, even your customers are illogical too, right? So something, presented in the wrong way could trigger people or turn them off. Where it might make sense initially, like doing something a certain way, like on paper, it looks good. But once you put it out in the real world, the way people respond and the way people experience that product or that feature might be totally different than what you jotted out on your napkin, right?
Yeah, completely. And you don't realize it because you don't have their perspective. That's why you need to get feedback.
Yeah.
And you also need a team, because the team can give you different perspectives, and they're working with you all the time to give you perspective. So, like, part of their job should be just to give you feedback, and that way you can continue to improve yourself and the company. Another book that I love that everyone should read is The Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. I love his podcast. The podcast is also called Diary of a CEO, and I think he's great. He's a very smart guy. His book is great as well. So that was a good one. I read that one earlier this year.
Nice. Do you ever use Blinkist or anything like that? It's kind of like an audiobook site that kind of takes those books and condenses them to 15 minutes. And if you like it, you could buy the book too from there.
I use Audible. I think it's a
Audible.
pretty similar one. Yeah, I love it. I don't When I say read, I mean listen.
Yeah.
I haven't read a book in a while. I've read some chapters, but like I haven't read a full book in a long time, because I don't prefer it. I focus better when I'm listening, actually, and doesn't it feels like I'm wasting time when I read, which is not true, but it feels like it, and I don't like that. But when I'm doing something else while listening to a book, it's
Yeah.
perfect, because
Yeah. It's multitasking, right? It's just kind of, instead of listening to music, you're just, listening to a podcast and learning along the way.
yeah, and that's what I'm focused on, because people I've heard that people can't actually multitask,
Mhm.
which I guess is true. I haven't looked at any studies, but I assume it's true. But when you're like cooking, or you're just making some food to eat or whatever, or you're brushing your teeth, or you're in the car, you can still focus fully on the book, and the other thing's just like on autopilot because you do it so much. So I don't personally, I don't lose any attention to the book when I'm doing something else like that. If you're working while listening to a book, then yeah, you're gonna lose some of it. So I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So I guess what's one thing potential customers should know about Novo Echo AI and why they should pick your platform up today?
So we are going to make sure, especially now, that when you come in, we help you in every single part of the customer journey and part of your journey. And we're going to make sure that the second you come in, you're going to understand very well what the AI is supposed to do for your company and what our goal is. So we're going to say, okay, we want the AI to be able to call X number of people for you every week. We want to do this, this, and this. And then we're going to work with you for 2 weeks to build out the perfect agent that's going to do that for you. So we're going to make sure that we build an MVP for you, like I was just saying, and this is something I'm going to implement. I'm going to talk to the team about shortly. We're going to get feedback from you on exactly what you think of it. Do you want the script changed? Do you want a different voice? Do you want different automations? Whatever. We're then going to iterate on that. We're going to continue to do that over and over for 2 weeks. And we're going to test with real leads so you can listen to the calls with real leads and we can iterate on that. And once that is perfected, we're then going to get the okay from you. You're going to start using it in your company. We're going to give you 2 more weeks of unlimited support and unlimited changes. So if you need anything changed, you want any fixed, you want anything added to, we'll do that for you. And then after that, we'll continue to provide you support and any further changes you can make yourself, and we'll teach you how to do that. So that's our done for you product. It's not our branded agency product, but that is that's usually what a business will want to do. And then if you have more of a B2B business where maybe you're a marketing agency or something like that, and you want to become a branded agency, and there we go. You want to become a branded agency, and you want to actually be able to resell this to your clients as a second service and earn money per minute and earn monthly fees and setup fees. Then we can get you set up with that as well.
That's super valuable. Yeah, I like the hospitality approach you guys offer too. Like the whole onboarding process. Sounds like you guys have really dialed it in. You read the book like you said. So
I'm working on it. Yeah, I want to. That's one of the most important things to me, and I'm going to continue to improve it.
awesome. Well, it sounds like you're a real entrepreneur if I've ever interviewed one. So
Thank you.
yeah. So once again, where could people learn more about your company? It's Nova. Do you want to say the website again?
Yeah, so novaecho.ai. That's NovaEcho.ai. You can also go to NachoNacho and search up Nova Echo, and we'll be on there as well. And then we are on pretty much any social media channel you can think of. So just look up our name. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn. And then you can also connect with me on LinkedIn and Instagram with my name, JoeySeeman.
Awesome. Well, Joey, it's been a pleasure talking with you today, and we look forward to growing our businesses together.
Yes, we do. I'm excited for it as well. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
having
bud.
me.
Take care.